All right, y'all, let's get into this, man. It was a lot of buffoonery that happened in the last couple of minutes of game three. I'm going to let these dudes talk about the review, you feel me? Great game overall, a lot of BS. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section. I do appreciate all the love that we get. And like I say, I like to get into the comment section so we can have debates, conversations, and we can overall talk about sports. I mainly talk about the Lakers. That's basically my team. LeBron needs to leave. But this video ain't about LeBron, man. So I'm going to let Jason Temp and Colin Cowherd, these two Clutch Sports clients, talk about the Oklahoma City Thunder against the Indiana Pacers, Game 3.
Join the show. Colin, where is your head at after 3 games of the NBA Finals?
Well, yeah, the Pacers, and you and I had talked about this. The Celtics this year were better on the road than at home. Denver is the same team. Oklahoma City's not the same team on the road. They're not. Their bench players, their rotational players are young. That's the downside to youth. They are not the same team on the road. They're very vulnerable. Tonight they had 19 turnovers. They got really sloppy. I didn't think SGA ever got into a great rhythm. He did a great job coaching and prodding and poking his team. But my takeaway is, like, tonight was a game that, in football, there's the old thing about you can steal yards and field position, and over the course of a game, you get better field position. I thought the Pacers, between steals, blocks, they had 11. Between offensive rebounds, stole about 8 to 10 points tonight. Just sneaky points.
I mean, honestly, okay, first of all, let's go over the whole youngness thing. That's kind of baloney. The oldest player on this roster for both teams is probably Miles Turner. He's like the veteran. The only young player really that couldn't handle his weight was Chet Holmgren for the Thunder. Absolutely freaking abysmal. His IQ showed. A bunch of stupid mistakes that he had no business doing in an NBA Finals. Like, that's not your position. Taking the ball like he did, it was like 2 minutes left, and trying to go up against Miles Turner when Miles Turner's in front of you, shooting a three, getting your shit blocked, and then trying to drive to the rack instead of passing out to someone like Shea, who's the more capable player. That was the worst. I think that honestly killed a lot of the momentum. And it wasn't the first time, because Miles Turner went up against him. He scored. Then he went up against Miles Turner. It just really seemed a little selfish, like he was trying to do his one-on-one thing because he was tired of being embarrassed by Miles Turner. Bro, at this point in the finals, he's just better than you because he has more experience. So what Chet Holmgren did to me really kind of sealed the nail in the coffin for the Thunder at the end of that game. And then also a lot of rookie mistakes by both teams, but really the Thunder they don't lock in when the game is on the line, like when it's a couple minutes left. And the biggest problem, fatigue. They were tired, whooped, beat. There was too many moments where I'm like, your coach needs to call a timeout. You guys have 3 timeouts right now. It's 3 minutes and 45 seconds left in the game. He should be calling a timeout. You guys look gassed. They missed way too many free throws. They got to the line 3 different times. Miss one, made the other. Miss one, made the other. Miss one, made the other. And then one time they allowed Tyrese Halliburton to go get the rebound off a missed free throw from their side. Tyrese Halliburton over there by half court, by the way. Abysmal. They looked way too tired. And honestly, it annoyed me because the Thunder are a better team, bro. They're a better team. And now their mettle is getting tested and they're starting to waver. You guys are a 68-win team, and you guys need to show it. It's not about veteran leadership because both teams don't really have veteran leadership. Alex Caruso can be your vet for your team, and then you got Miles Turner for their team. Shea's about 27. Honestly, the Pacers have a young squad as well. So both squads are pretty young. So I don't think that that's the problem. So of course these guys, they just say stuff to spin their wheels sometimes, but too many miscues, and to me some of it was coaching. Whenever I see players tired, whenever I see players holding their legs, shaking from exhaustion, and then when I see missed defensive assignments due to fatigue, your coach should be either subbing you out or should be calling a timeout to get you some energy. He really should be doing a better job at subbing players in and out towards the end of the third and fourth quarter, because this is where the Thunder start to look a little gassed. They all try to put it on Shea's back. Shea looks like he's way too cool for school. I'm not going to say he's not locked in, but the Thunder as a whole don't look as locked in as the Pacers. The Pacers are the most locked in team, honestly, this entire playoff run. They are locked in. They're ready. They are. Remember when LeBron fake ass used to go and tweet that he was going to enter 0 dark 30 or something like that? They're in that 0 dark 30 mindset. The only thing that they're thinking about is executing and winning this championship. I don't see that from the Thunder. I didn't see that from the Knicks. I think the Knicks felt like they won a championship the moment they beat the Celtics. They thought that the NBA playoffs was over. Like, their whole job was to beat the Celtics. After that, they got lost. Unfortunately for them, they didn't play the Celtics in the West Finals. I mean, in the Eastern Conference Finals. If they did that, they might have had an actual chance of winning a championship. But no, they played them in the second round instead and got too ahead of themselves. When I look at the Nuggets weren't locked in as much as the Thunder. The Thunder honestly look like they're losing their grip on reality right now, and this is causing me to have concern over whether or not this team is who we believe they are and who I believe they are. I believe that they're a team that should be holding up that Larry O'Brien trophy. The Pacers, no disrespect against them, I don't really have anything personal. I don't really like Reggie Miller, to be honest. Even when he was doing like the commentary, he was just, to me, too biased. I don't think this is and that's one of my problems. I'm not saying he's the only person who's ever done this, but when it comes to basketball and it comes to analysts and people who talk about the game while the game's going on, I don't like hearing anybody leaning towards a specific team because it just shows your biasness. I think the NBA is riddled with reporters, commentators, ex-players who all have a freaking bias in any type of game that's going on. They all have a side to pick. The fix is in somewhere between them and how they market NBA teams. And then for him to show up with his Pacers fit, I'm not mad at that. Like, I get it. But that's exactly why you shouldn't be doing commentary. You're a Pacer. This is your team. When TNT had you out there doing the commentary, that was absolutely bogus. They should have got somebody who didn't have any skin in the game. Just my opinion, though. Y'all can let me know what y'all think in the comment section.
You know, like one of them is McConnell on the inbounds. I think from Caruso, steals that play. That's a huge, huge play, especially when you're the home team and the crowd erupts. And I just thought over the course of a game, just 4 or 5 baskets, either denied or provided sneaky points. And that's kind of the difference in the game. It was just, I mean, that game, until the last 3 minutes, I didn't know who was going to win it. It was just a very tight game. And I think they deserve a lot of credit. I mean, Indiana's bench. Jesus. I mean, God, that again, bench.
I'm tired of hearing this about the bench. The Indiana Pacers bench isn't that much better than the Thunder's bench. The Thunder have a loaded roster. What is this guy talking about? See, you go from telling everybody, for example, that Lou Dort, who's not coming off the bench, but he's a great player, to there's spurts where they go, you need somebody else who can cover because Lou Dort can't get the job done. Ride with the niggas that you got. You guys won 68 games. It wasn't Shea playing all season long. Okay? Now the Pacers get away with some sneaky, and it could just be the camera angles, but it'd be looking like some sneaky fouls when they reach in and they get those steals. It looked like some sneaky fouls going on over the back, reaching fouls that the refs just don't call. They get away with some of that, and every single other team isn't used to that because they're not allowed in the regular season to be manhandled the way the Pacers are manhandling people. and they're getting away with a lot of it. The Pacers are a long, lengthy team. How did they beat the Knicks? They are a long, lengthy team. The Knicks are not. Their biggest player was basically Karl Towns, who plays no defense. When you look at Jalen Brunson, he's basically an NBA midget. You get me? When you look at how they beat the Cavs, Donovan Mitchell is not long or lengthy. He's about 6'3". The Pacers are manhandling these players through their defensive presence. And kudos to them, but the rest, I think, need to take a closer look at a lot of that. On top of that, flopping's not going to get you to a championship if you're the Thunder. Both teams are doing it, though, but it's not going to get you to a championship if all you can do is flop in pivotal moments. The real problem with this entire game and why people had, you kind of had a thought that the Pacers might win is because the Thunder just looked tired. They were whooped, beat, stomped. It's about a little bit under 4 minutes left in the game, and they basically gave up. Shame on you if you're Oklahoma City. You guys gave up. The championship is right in your doorway. It's right there. You're a young team just like the other team. You can't use experience as a freaking, like how these guys are trying to do it. You can't use experience as a reason for why you lost. It's not an excuse. It's no good. You guys had an opportunity, and you guys chose fatigue over getting the job done, which the Pacers don't ever look tired in the freaking fourth. Everybody's going to say, oh, it's players, it's substitution. Then that's coaching. Don't sit here and tell me the Thunder's bench is useless. They got 2 big centers over there. 2 big centers. They got a power forward. They got like 3 small forwards. They got 3 stars. What more does this team need? Your best star looks like Kobe on his best day. Stop it. Stop the nonsense. Stop the excuses. You guys can play 8 to 9 players if you want to. If you're not, that's your problem. That's your coach's decision. Don't sit here and tell me that there's not 8 players on the Thunder that can't play basketball in the finals. How many players are the Pacers using? I'm imagining about 9. Stop. These dudes make all these excuses that don't need to be made. Don't need to be made at all.
Bench at home, bench on the road. Mathurin, who starts sometimes for them, reminds me a little bit of a little Westbrook. Westbrook was.
Well, they better learn how to be a damn away team, because if not, then they're gonna be coming back home with a 3-1 lead, advantage Indiana. Y'all ain't got time for that. Y'all better figure out how to win this next game, because this next game is oh so important if you're the Thunder. This is the biggest game of the series, basically. Lock in.
Hyper athletic. Mathurin was a quarterback and a hockey player in Canada. Goes to Arizona, as you know, crushes it. Super athletic, but not as out of control as Westbrook. Like he's gonna be a great player in this league. But I guess that's the Pacers. Just a lot of blocks and steals and effort points, and that's the ball game.
Monday CRM has the best AI features in the game.
Especially in sales.
Hands down.
So for me, email.
Yeah, I had my eye on Mathurin and McConnell in particular off of the Pacers bench coming into this season.
That's not the ball game. I'm sorry, y'all. That's just not the ball game. It's not blocks and steals. All of that mattered, but it was the grit, the grind, the hustle. They wanted it more. If you go sit there and watch this game, just even watch the fourth quarter. I watched the whole game. They wanted it more than the Thunder did. The Thunder out there looking like, outside of Alex Caruso, because he made some incredible plays, everybody else looking like they too cool for fucking school. It is what it is. It's all good. We don't need it. I don't see no emotion on the floor outside of Chet Holmgren, who used it to do some Karl Anthony Towns stupidity on the court. When he decided that he was going to take it up on Miles Turner, who's locked the fuck in. Miles Turner is locked in. Why are you trying to 1v1 this guy? From the 3-point line and you're a center. From the 3-point line. Stop. Stop it. They out-hustled y'all. They have more energy, more reserves, and more stamina than y'all. That's a problem that needs to be addressed now. Immediately, if not sooner. Otherwise, the Pacers will be holding up that damn trophy. And it won't be for skill or want or wins or 68 win seasons. It'll only be because, or the MVP, or because they have the best player in the series. None of that. It will be because they wanted it more than you guys did. Pay attention and listen. You guys have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the NBA's MVP most valuable player. Also won the scoring title. Is set to win finals MVP and is set to hold up a championship. He has the most wins in this season. Him and his team with 68 games. Don't sit here and tell me it's because the Pacers have more talent. More bench depth. Stop lying. Stop it. You guys are the better team and you're not playing like it. At all. You let them steal a game in game one. Straight up stole it from you. Got hot. Y'all had a 16-plus point lead. And if they take game 4, this series is over, Oklahoma City. Do you hear me?
Series, not because I'm an Arizona fan, although obviously it's been awesome watching those guys just kill it. I mean, 28 points in an NBA Finals game, that is like a real feather in the cap for a young basketball player. And honestly, like I've had a lot of mailbag questions and things like that from fans over the course of the last couple of weeks who've been asking, like, what's the next step for the Pacers? Like, where's their next leap? And it's that kid. It's him.
Yeah.
It's him becoming,
no
by age
question,
25, 26, an all-star level guard.
Yeah, and you know, I said this, and I don't know if you and I talked about this. Oklahoma City's got more depth, but there's this sense that
okay. So let me stop it right there. He just said Oklahoma City has more depth. I know he hasn't gotten to his point yet, but literally just like 3 minutes ago into this video, he said the Pacers have more bench depth. Did y'all catch that? These dudes just be talking, bro. This is why when it goes to the LeBron James conversation, there's so many people on YouTube who react the way they do with negativity. And they're sick of hearing the freaking lies. You guys go back and forth just to push out content every day to flood your pockets. Stop it. How do they have more talent, but then you just said the Pacers have more depth? Now all of a sudden the Thunder do? Ridiculous.
Oklahoma City's talents here and Indiana's is below, and I'm like, I don't really buy that. I think I said this, and I don't know if you and I talked about this. Oklahoma City's got more depth, but there's this sense that Oklahoma City's talents here and Indiana's is below, and I'm like, I don't really buy that. I think McConnell, I think TJ McConnell's a really, really good basketball player. I think Mathurin, who started some games for them this year, he was like their third or fourth leading scorer. He's exploding. I mean, we all know that Siakam and Hallie are great. Miles Turner's defense in the second half was unbelievable. Like, I don't think the gap in talent, especially when you go back home, I don't think it's that. I mean, Obi Toppin, his dunk, I put him up by 7, and then he got a block on the other end. Like, I think the talent disparity here is inches, not feet. I think Indiana's got a real team, and they have a lot of different players. I mean, Obi Toppin's hyper athletic. Miles Turner's a rim protector.
Okay, they have a real team that can win a championship. Let me stop you right there, because although I get your point, no, the Thunder are the most talented team in this series. Let me just first say that to get that out the way. Now, going back to what he's talking about, the difference between the talent, no, it's not that big of a difference when you look at it from that perspective. If you're going like player for player, know what I'm saying? But also, when you get to the top, when we look at this being Tyrese Halliburton's team versus Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the regular season for the last couple of years have showed us that Shai should be the best, if not second best player in the NBA. You cannot say that about Tyrese Halliburton. He's not the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh best player. He's not one of those guys. He's not a top 5. Okay? No disrespect to him. Phenomenal player. Honestly, if he played like this in the regular season, there could be a reality where he could probably contend for an MVP. But he's not an MVP caliber player. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is. He's already won one and almost won 2. He's an MVP caliber player. He's up there in the upper echelon of the league. That is the difference. So when you're riding off the best team who has the best player, they should win. Now, if we're talking talent for talent, the Pacers, honestly, defensively, they're elite. I haven't seen defense play like this in a while in the league. I just haven't. There's a chance that they might have beat the Celtics had they went up against them. But as an overall team, they just want it more. It's not because they're more talented or evenly talented. They just want it more. You guys have to understand, though, when you get to the finals, right, there's been years, like, if you're going up against a super team, then, you know, just basically give up now. Like the 2018 Cavs versus the freaking Warriors. You know, if you're going up against a juggernaut, then okay. But for the most part, teams that get to the finals tend to be evenly matched unless, again, you're going up against the Shaq and Kobe or the Golden State Warriors with Kevin Durant. When you look at the Warriors versus the Cavs had more talent than them in 2015. They had more talent than them in 2016. But it wasn't that far off a cliff. Steph Curry was an MVP caliber player, just like, you know, they say LeBron was at the time. But it wasn't that much of a difference. Like, it wasn't like, oh, because some people will lie to you and say the Warriors had more talent just because they won more games. But no, the Cavs did. Because your best player is supposed to be that guy, according to y'all. But when you look at the talent, like, coming from both conferences, and basically my point is, the East is still weaker than the West, conference-wise, but it's not that much of a difference where whoever gets out the East is going to be chopped liver, like how when LeBron used to play in the Eastern Conference, he'd be playing the Kyle Korver Hawks. You feel me? The rookie Jason Tatum Celtics or some team that just has no business being around him. That Pacer team with Paul George. Like some team that has no business like fucking with him and his roster. That's not the case for the league no more. Anybody who gets out the East is probably going to be as good as anybody who gets out the West. Barring, you know, it's going to be a slight adjustment here or there. One team should be better than the other. You get me? But it's not going to be that much of a difference for the most part. Like when you look at the Luka Doncic Mavs, they had a great team from a talent perspective. The holes in their game came from their best player, who's just one-dimensionally offensively minded. I mean, that and the fact that the Celtics almost had a super team. Like, they just added Chris Porzingis and Jrue Holiday out the blue. You feel me? But it's like, when you look at both rosters, the Celtics had a better roster. But the Mavs weren't like chopped liver. They weren't just a trash team that just walked it. They weren't the Kyle Korver Hawks. They only looked like that because Luka got exposed. His game got exposed for what he really was. The Thunder are getting exposed right now for their fatigue, in my opinion. They're looking like a team who don't have the mindset to get it done in high-intensity situations. They start to buckle. That's what I'm starting to see. But it's not because the Pacers are better or that they're that much better than the Pacers. They're better than the Pacers. They should be. They have the MVP caliber player. So then you ask yourself, why are they starting to lose? It's not because the Pacers, and that's what I meant to say. It's not because the Pacers are like just matched up with them. It's really just because the Pacers wanted more, and they have the integrity and the mindset that it takes to get through these high pressure situations and figure shit out. Which means that comes from better coaching and most likely better. When we talk about Miles Turner and some of their vets. Not that the vets are like outperforming everybody, because these teams in age aren't that much of a difference. But Alex Caruso is like the vet here, which I don't think he's used to being. I don't really think he's used to being. And then you got people like Chet Holmgren making bonehead decisions. Needs to be worked on for sure.
Siakam's got a pretty touch. Hallie's more assist than scoring, but can do both. Neesmith can hit threes. McConnell's the spark plug. Matherin's the young, emerging, hyper-athletic guy. I mean, they got a lot of levers to pull. So I watch this. It's just fun watching this series. I'm like, at the end of the game, I'm like, does Indiana have more good players? I mean, they just pulled a lot of levers tonight.
I do think they're better down the roster in terms of just the level of like consistency they get from all of their supporting players. Like there's like, I'm watching the end of the second quarter and like Ben Shepherd's out there and Mathurin and McConnell, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is Carlisle riding his bench in like what is typically a starting group session. I think where you see the talent gap between OKC and Indiana is like just that like top end shot creation. Like when things really bog down and both defenses are locked in, Shea is just so much better at like getting to his spots and finding those like shots that he can make. I think
ding 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 ding. Why is that? That is because Shai Gilgeous is the only superstar in this entire series. No disrespect to Hallie. If he ever watched this video, it's not that he's trash or nothing. It's just that in that regular season, he don't go like Shai do. Shai Gilgeous is the best player in the series. Temp knows what he's talking about, even though he likes to make up BS sometimes. He knows what he's talking about. Halliburton is a nice all-star. If I was ranking him, he's probably the 13th best player in the league, somewhere around there. Shai Gilgeous is either 1 or 2. at the worst, top 3. And he's a two-way player. Hallie's not normally known to do that, although he's playing some really solid defense. But he also has some crazy turnovers in this series. So this, honestly, because it's not like Colin's making this broad analysis of it's 2K worthy. Like this is in a make-believe land. I think both teams are lined up. Like, bro, role players are role players no matter what. And since we're using that 2K analogy, they gonna be ranked around an 83 to a 77. That's what role players are always ranked, right around there. You get me? And you can swap them in and swap them out. Really, the biggest thing that matters with the role players and why he's talking about bench depth is because Rick Carlisle is showing himself to be the better coach, for one. He's the better coach, and he's trusting his guys more. He has his guys locked in. If you go down 1 through 10 on both rosters, outside of the stars, it's going to be pretty even, bro. And honestly, in the playoffs, for a lot of teams, that's the truth. Tom Thibodeau had a roster. I don't want to hear Indy's talent. Indy was just bigger and taller. But when we talk about coaching, they were more locked in than the Knicks. The Knicks weren't locked in. They weren't primed. Indiana has been primed. Indiana is like a pit bull that you like shook him around, routed him up before he goes fight another dog, and then for some reason pumped him up with steroids. Pumped him up with steroids and made him angry. Now the only thing on his mind is destroying. And that's how Indiana is moving in this playoffs. It's not because they're better or bench depth or none of that nonsense. They're ready. They're ready to dominate. The Thunder are not right now. They can get there, but they just aren't. And it was disgraceful. What they did in the last 4 minutes of that game was nothing but a pure disgrace to basketball. They should be ashamed of themselves. But you know what? I don't want to bore you guys too much. I know, these videos get a little too long, so I'm going to end it right there, man. Just please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think, man. Appreciate y'all watching. I'm up out of here.